My mother saw it when Song Huijing asked me to deliver condoms to him yet again. She paused for a moment and said, "I'll take them for you. I was 40 when I had you. I can never love you too much. I can't bear to see you humiliated, so I'll do it for you." At that moment, I decided to give up on Song Huijing. Everyone was surprised when I stopped revolving around Song Huijing, and someone asked me why. I fell silent for a long time, just pressing my lips together. My mother would be heartbroken. Song Huijing booked a hotel room and forgot to bring condoms again. By the time the message reached me, it was already 11 p.m. I was in the shower of all times, and my mom saw the message. The air felt especially still as we stepped outside. The message on the phone screen, resting on the coffee table, was glaringly bright. "Meng Yao likes the strawberry flavor. Get it to me within half an hour." My mother is barely literate, and of course, he had to send a voice message, probably. Still bitter that I stole Meng Yao's order last time, this message came across as especially blunt. The air grew heavy for a moment. Mom hung her head, lost in thought. She stayed silent for a long time, then said to me, "If this is the guy you like, then I'll deliver it for you. I was 40 when I had you. I can never love you enough. I can't bear to see you wronged, so I'll go in your place." The light in the room was dim, but the white hair at her crown was strikingly visible. I fell for Song Huijing. Back in high school, I followed him to the university in Jingbei. Later, he also joined his family's company and landed a high-paying job. He's been really good to me, giving me gifts for my birthday and paying a high salary. When I first started, I had a business meeting with someone who gave me a hard time, but the very next day, that person came to my office to apologize. Someone's green with envy, snidely remarking to my face, "Pulling strings sure makes a difference. Looks like someone's about to become Mrs. Song." I believed it to some extent too. He had a lot of people coming and going around him. When he needed something, I'd bring it to him. When he didn't, I'd handle things for him one by one with the money I had. Only Meng Yao remained the longest. Song Huijing likes her so much that he wants to marry her. Following him all these years has been no easy road. For the first time, in that very moment, I suddenly felt it was pretty pointless. I've decided to give up on him, I said to my mom. With that, I blocked Song Huijing. The phone rang the very next second. The voice on the other end was unusually casual. "What's that supposed to mean? This is no time to be throwing a tantrum. I'm waiting to use it. Oh, and when you get here, remember to apologize to Yao Yao in person, too." The apology was because I had just closed a big deal, but Meng Yao said that client was hers. The moment the little girl started crying, Song Huijing lost all reason. He withheld 2 months' salary, shut down my entire department, and reassigned me to a different position. My 6-month hard work on the project just fell through. When I found him, he let out a soft, derisive chuckle. "Your job was handed to you through connections. What's there to regret? As for those people, what decent projects could they possibly work on with you? Anyone with real talent wouldn't be following your lead." Even though several days had passed, thinking about it again left me breathless, with a sharp, twisting pain in my chest. Embarrassed and awkward, I lowered my gaze and shot back, "I'm not apologizing to her. If she's really that angry, then fire me." There was a brief silence from the other side, followed by a casual laugh that carried a hint of annoyance. "Sure, if you can let it go. It's hard to tell if she's talking about the job, or about him." I spent 10 years chasing after Song Huijing. Anyone with eyes could see I was head over heels for him. He was a transfer student who moved back in our senior year of high school, from Beijing. It was probably because Beijing didn't allow non-resident students to take the college entrance exam there, so he came back, an air of nobility, truly exceptional. That was everyone's first impression of him. That same year was also when I was at my most pathetic. Back then, my face was covered in acne, I was a loner and not very likable, my family was poor, and we rented a place that never got any sun, our laundry never dried properly, so I always carried this faint, fishy smell. Nobody in class liked me, yet he chose to be my desk mate, maybe out of pity or sympathy. He'd always help me with problems I just couldn't wrap my head around, then follow it up with, "You know, you're actually really smart." When people were talking about me, he'd hand me an earbud. It wasn't music playing, but some obscure radio station. A crosstalk comedian was booming with this earth-shattering voice. "People like that are just asking for a lightning strike. Don't you just want to strangle them?" He'd even top up my meal card with 2,000 yuan when he saw me chugging water just to save a few bucks on food, brushing it off with, "It's just the cost of a shirt. Pay me back when you're making money." At first, I was filled with anxiety, feeling I didn't deserve such kindness. Later, I consoled myself, Thinking maybe fate had sent Song Hwijing to save me because my luck had been so rotten after that, we told each other everything. That year when I graduated from university, I was preparing to look for a job. At the time, there was a saying going around online that good jobs only flow through connections and blood ties. I couldn't hold back my frustration and mentioned it to him. He just stayed silent for a moment, then slightly raised an eyebrow and adjusted his collar. I'm the one with the connections, you can just follow my lead, he's my best friend. I naturally found myself fond of him. I'm too ashamed to say it out loud. But maybe I made it too obvious, or maybe he was just naturally smart enough to see right through people. He called me late one night, emergency call, I've fallen head over heels for a girl, but I forgot to bring anything, can you help me send her something? My mind went blank with a sudden buzz, my throat went dry, and I couldn't get a word out. After a long silence, I asked him, why me? He chuckled softly and replied, you're my best friend, if you won't help me, who will? Finally, he asked earnestly, you'll come, right? In the adult world, things are often left unsaid. By saying that, he was telling me to let it go. If I had yelled at him and hung up the phone right then, we would have never crossed that line, we would have just stayed friends forever. But for some reason, I still went. It was pouring that day, the drainage system had failed, and the water was rising almost to my calves. Maybe it was some kind of self-preservation instinct, but I've forgotten how I managed to hand him the item under Song Hwijing's inscrutable gaze. Looking like a complete mess, I even forgot how I got out of that hotel. All I remember is the woman in the room asking curiously, who's that? Song Hwijing scoffed lightly, just a regular subordinate. Ah, the working life is no walk in the park, the subway's shut down, and the rain is so heavy you can't even get a cab. I didn't have my ID with me, so I couldn't check into a hotel. I had no choice but to trudge home, one foot in front of the other. The wind from north of Beijing scrapes across my face like a dull knife sawing through flesh, leaving my entire body numb. It took me 3 hours to walk back home from the hotel. I came down with a high fever right after I got back. Later on, I developed an ear infection. That same day, my mom called me. She said she wanted to come and keep me company. Song Hwijing's voice came through the other end of the line, as always, flippant and confident. You'll come, right? I didn't answer him. Just hung up. I'm not going anymore. I'm never going again. For it was pouring rain outside, and my ear started hurting again. The pain spread fast, and even my scalp throbbed sharply. I instinctively pressed my temples. My mother stood there, looking at me, a little at a loss. Over the past few years, she hadn't been very happy living in Jingbei and had always been overly cautious in everything she did. She always felt guilty for not being able to help me advance in my career. So while I was supporting her, she somehow picked up the skill of reading my mood and acting accordingly. It was downright absurd. I forced myself to sit up and put on a casual front. Don't worry about me, that's not the kind of person I like at all. He's just a straight-up capitalist boss. You know how cutthroat things are in Jing City. Some of my friends even have to babysit their boss's kids after work. She didn't say anything, and the tension in her face still didn't ease up. I knew she didn't believe me. After all, I've been in Jing City for so many years, and the higher I climbed, the more even the leaders had to think twice and show me some respect. No one would ever dare give me the cold shoulder, but I really didn't have the energy to explain anything anymore. When I was in school, I used to tell her everything without holding back, what I ate, what I drank, everything that happened at school. I told her all of it, but over the years that I was single-mindedly chasing Song Hwijing, the two of us gradually seemed to be separated by a wall, with that invisible distance between us. I couldn't open my heart to her, and I didn't know what I should even say to her. I said softly, Mom, really, don't worry about me. I stopped wanting to do this a long time ago. It's getting late, let's all head back to our rooms and get some sleep. I turned around, but behind me came a voice that was almost choking with emotion. But I can't help worrying. I went to your company to look for you, and that was when I saw him bullying you. My headache was getting worse and worse, and I couldn't focus long enough to remember which time it was. I went to talk to him because I wanted him to treat you a little better, but he told me that you'd only gotten into the company through the back door, that you'd already achieved things most people could only dream of, and that taking a little loss was a fair trade. At least you were smart, but having a mother like me is really unfortunate. 5. Resigning should follow the proper procedures. When I got to the office, I found that my desk had already been taken by Meng Yao. When she saw me, she smiled with a hint of smugness. I only shed a couple of tears, and Brother Huijing gave me your position. He said I'm his favorite little canary. I didn't get angry either, and calmly asked her in return, didn't Song Huijing say he couldn't live without you? Aren't you two getting married? Why are you still calling yourself a caged bird? What's the matter? Getting used to being the mistress. Don't you dare look down on me. The words seemed to strike a nerve, twisting her young face into a strange, ugly grimace. You have no idea what Huijing says about you, do you? He says you're scheming, incompetent, and that he's been wanting to get rid of you for ages. There's no need for you to feel it's unfair. After all, it's survival of the fittest, whether it's in the office or in the bedroom. She had started in a hushed tone, but perhaps fueled by anger, her voice grew louder and louder. The words in the bedroom were uttered in a voice that was nearly a shriek. The competition within the Song group is cutthroat, with most employees so swamped they can't even grab a sip of water all day. At that moment, everyone stopped what they were doing and turned their attention to us. Sticky and damp, she felt the eyes of those around her and flushed all over. It reminds me of when Song Huijing first took a liking to her. She was just as skittish and dramatic back then. Her mind is shallow, and her methods of stirring up trouble are utterly brainless. I often wonder when Song Huijing will tell me to give her the breakup settlement. Song Huijing has a short fuse and a taste for novelty. His girlfriends are a never-ending parade. The man is covered, on every inch of exposed skin, with women's kiss marks. Maybe this is the real thing even now. I still don't understand why Song Huijing is so infatuated with her. Meng Yao gritted her teeth but didn't dare say another word. She grabbed the thermos from the table, intending to hurl it at my face, but she forgot she was wearing high heels and a bodycon skirt. In the early days, when Song Huijing hadn't yet solidified his position within the group, I often attended social engagements on his behalf. I'd be dressed in either a high-slit skirt or a body-hugging pencil skirt, teetering on stiletto heels. I grew tired of that, so as soon as I had a bit of authority, I immediately changed the policy. I advocated for trousers and suits in formal settings, with casual wear being perfectly acceptable for daily life. As a result, her movements were sluggish, the skirt restricted her stride. I snatched the cup from her almost effortlessly, then I swung it hard towards her face. I stopped just 5 centimeters from her face, meeting her terrified gaze. I gave a slight, knowing smile. Sorry, but that's my cup, Sujinju. I had no idea you were capable of something like this. A scornful laugh came from behind me. I turned around and met Song Huijing's slightly mocking gaze. Meng Yao seemed to snap back to reality, her tears falling rapidly. She's so arrogant, she even tried to hit me. Why are you crying? Can't I just ask you to give it back? Meng Yao went from tears to laughter, storming up to me with fury, ready to slap me, yet I felt remarkably calm. I didn't know what I meant to Song Huijing, but I figured he must have been so love-struck he'd lost his mind, to the point where he shamelessly treated me like a tool to please Meng Yao. So this time, the thermos didn't hit Meng Yao. Instead, it struck Song Huijing right in the face. Meng Yao urgently covered Song Huijing's face and snapped, "Are you out of your mind?" Amidst the surrounding chaos, I looked at the disbelief in Song Huijing's eyes and said, "If you want to call the police, I'll cooperate. For the medical examination, I'll cover the expenses. I quit this job." 6. After Sian found out I'd left my job, she gave me a call. "Don't be impulsive. Jobs aren't easy to come by these days. There are more college grads every year, and young people keep flooding the market. If you leave Song Huijing, you really won't find another job this good. I know you got the short end of the stick, but these days, who doesn't get treated unfairly on the job? You need to take it easy and think more positively." My mind felt like it was stuffed full of air. Through the sound of the rain, her words reached my ears only dimly and indistinctly. In her younger years, Su Yan had a fiery temper and couldn't tolerate even the slightest imperfection. Back when they found out I was working under Song Huijing, they used the same tone to yell at me. "Song Huijing is using you as a shield. He takes you to every drinking party, makes you wear that red dress that shows off your legs, and has you drink on his behalf. Have you ever looked in the mirror? Do you even realize you're actually quite attractive? He's using you. Can't you see that?" "I know very well, but I gained a lot too. If you're working for someone, you're going to Be used, if not by him, then by some other boss. Besides, Song Huijing is more generous than any boss I've ever had. I was willing, I told myself, so I replied to her back then. It's even sadder to not even have the value of being useful to someone. I was so full of confidence back then, but looking back now, I realize I didn't fully understand. I should take her advice and try to look on the bright side. For example, Song Huijing has been incredibly generous to me. My annual salary is high enough that, just a few years after graduation, I already have a car and a home in Beijing. I'd already count that as winning at life, so what's a little grievance supposed to matter? For example, it might just mean sending over a few things to spice things up, and with some other bosses, the demands could be even more outrageous. For example, if my feelings for him were just one-sided, and he didn't have any feelings for me at all, yet he still let me do these things, then he really did just treat me like a friend. Many times, I've made a habit of convincing myself this way, but this time, I'm really serious about it. I always find myself wondering, what was my mother thinking when she heard Song Huijing tell her daughter in that flippant tone to bring the condoms to the hotel? What was she thinking during that minute of silence after hearing Song Huijing say she was useless to me? I realized that in that moment, I was in more pain than I had ever been. That scene is etched into my mind. A constant source of pain. I can't keep chasing after Song Huijing with my eyes closed anymore. I'm really struggling to see the bright side right now. 7. I deleted all of Song Huijing's contact information. Send him a resignation letter via your work email. He didn't reply until the next day. Not approved. Report to work as usual tomorrow. I was so angry I ended up laughing. What good would it do if I didn't go? Keep paying my salary and social security if you dare. I rented out my apartment in Beijing. Great location, low rent, and it was leased out within just one day of being listed. I bought the house in my third year of work, and Song Huijing put up a large sum of money. At the time, Song Huijing said to me, "Those old men in the Song family are like wolves and tigers. Coming to you feels safe. You've been helping me plan and strategize since graduation. Times were tough back then, and I couldn't pay you a single cent. Now I'm making it up to you." We renovated the house together. Just the two of us, he said matter-of-factly. "I'm going to be spending a lot of time here in the future, so I want to decorate it to suit my own taste. It's a combination lock, and he knows the code," but he never came back after that. Mom didn't have many belongings. She acted more like a guest, always afraid of being a bother. She wore nothing but the hotel's disposable slippers, and used a single, thin towel for both her face and body. I was busy, so I just gave her plenty of money to buy her own things. But she never did. Even when she came to visit me, she made the trip alone on a hard-seat train for over 10 hours. I bought 2 plane tickets. It was Mom's first time on a plane, and she followed closely behind me. I could tell she was really happy. Even after she settled into her seat on the plane, she kept staring out the window. When your mind is idle, it starts to wander. I couldn't help but begin to look at my relationship with Song Huijing with a cold, objective eye. I didn't have a single friend around me. My message inbox was perpetually silent, save for the occasional text from Song Huijing. After that rainy night, I thought we had gone our separate ways, yet the very next day, he barged into my home and, with an overbearing manner, took me to see a doctor. Later, some of the women who appeared around him held a bit of malice toward me, and he always seemed to enjoy slighting me to please them. Afterwards, he give me some small compensation. When he's upset, he goes radio silent. He won't send a single message, and at work, he acts like a complete stranger every time. I scroll back through our messages, line by line, trying to figure out if I said something wrong to upset him. Just when I'm ready to move on, he barges back into my life, sometimes with a gift like a raw gemstone ring or a pearl necklace. When the mood strikes, they'll even cook a meal for me with their own hands, then they'll mention it offhandedly. "I've been so busy these past few days, but you've always been special to me." His rejections were never absolute, always mixing harshness with a hint of kindness. He didn't want me to cling, yet feared I wouldn't even if I was base. He was no saint himself. The plane soared into the clouds, and the city grew smaller and smaller. I'm not coming back. I'm done tiptoeing around and clinging to this relationship. Never again. 8. My hometown, Yunqing, is a city with a very slow pace of life. It has that distinct southern humidity, with many rainy days. Perhaps I was too busy before and could never get a good night's sleep, so after returning home, I started sleeping day and night. I always feel utterly exhausted. It's as if all the weariness from the past few years had been lying dormant in every corner of my body, only to erupt at this moment. Even remembering or thinking makes me feel weary. Mom's doing much better now. She's even made a new friend named Shadow. In my drowsy, half-awake state, I could always hear them talking on the phone. She's really worried about me and often says. Shadow told me the quickest way to get over someone is to get under someone new. How about I set you up on a date? Shadow said girls should eat more meat, so I made some tomato beef stew. I don't find it annoying, I just honestly can't bring myself to be interested. One day, I slept for so long that when I finally opened my eyes, it was already deep into the night. I heard my mom talking on the phone in the living room. Shadow, my daughter won't eat anything all day and just sleeps every day. What should I do? The AI's mechanical voice came through. If a child is prone to lying in, you need to help her adjust her sleep schedule and get a bit more exercise. Parents shouldn't be too indulgent. Mom softly interrupted it. But I just want to know how I can make her happy. A lump formed in my throat, rendering me speechless. I could only watch her quietly, even holding my breath. Perhaps there is a psychic connection between mother and daughter, for she seemed to sensed something and suddenly turned her head toward me. I was caught off guard, meeting her gaze, yet she suddenly smiled at me and pointed at my feet, saying, when you were 2, you hated wearing shoes and would always run over barefoot, sneaking a peek at me. Back then, you were as strong as a little bull. I nervously clutched the hem of my clothes. I used to be so eloquent at business dinners, but now I couldn't utter a single word. She lowered her head slightly and continued, honestly, I often regret divorcing your dad and going to great lengths to win custody of you. If I had just held on a little longer, you wouldn't have grown up in a single-parent household. If I hadn't worked overtime every day just to earn an extra $20, I'd have had more time to spend with you. Maybe then you wouldn't be so starved for affection, falling head over heels for just a little kindness. I could never bear to see you suffer. Yet you've endured so much hardship out of my sight. I've done a poor job of raising you. At that moment, I was overwhelmed with guilt. After a long silence, I asked her, didn't you say you had a matchmaking date? Can I meet them tomorrow? Also, I'm in the mood for tomato and egg noodles. The person I was set up with works for a state-owned enterprise. He thinks so highly of himself. The first thing they did when they met me was to find fault. You're too old. What does it matter if you used to earn a high salary? If you move to a small town, you won't even do as well as me. You absolutely must have a job. If we get married, we need to have a child right away. My mother has had a hard life. You need to be filial to her. Just as I was scrambling to say something to handle him, an unknown number called me. I shushed my date, and though he looked a little displeased, he said nothing. Hello. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. It was Song Huijing. He sighed helplessly. You've already hit me, so please don't be angry anymore. There has to be a limit to this tantrum, right? You changed the door code to the apartment. I can't even find you now. I'll make sure Mengya stays out of your way. Just come back, and your old position is still yours. Okay, your phone's going straight to voicemail. What on earth are you so busy with? I fell silent for a couple of seconds. A blind date. There was a sudden intake of breath on the other end of the line, followed by the sound of something being slammed against the wall. 9 after the call ended, I watched the man across from me slump back into his chair, his previously straight posture collapsing as he shoved a large forkful of pasta into his mouth. He chewed with exaggerated loudness, making constant, obnoxious smacking sounds as if putting on a show. I stared at him for a moment and asked, does your girlfriend know you're here on a blind date? He froze mid-action. How did you know? I pointed first to his phone case, which featured a cute Hello Kitty, and then to his wrist, where a black hair tie was looped. At last, I said, your jacket is a matching couple style. He straightened his back, then dipped his head slightly toward me in a polite gesture of apology. I'm really sorry, but my family doesn't approve of my girlfriend, so they made me come out for a blind date. My girlfriend doesn't know I'm here this time. She's quite sensitive and will definitely make a scene if she finds out. I lowered my gaze slightly and cut him off. If you can't stand up to your family's arrangements and can't give her a proper answer, you need to tell her clearly, and do it soon. Don't string her along and break her heart. He paused for a moment, then nodded. I'll handle this properly. I can't live without her. My interest had long since vanished, and upon hearing that, I got ready to stand up and leave. He hurriedly said, let me treat you to this meal. I was the one who had you going in the first place. By the way, should we exchange contact info? It'd be nice to stay friends. I shook my head and pulled out some cash from my wallet, exactly half the cost of the meal. My mom put together this wallet for me. In this fast-paced world, she always insists I carry a little cash. No, thank you. I don't want any further contact with you. 10. As soon as I got home, my mother couldn't wait to ask how it went. Meeting her expectant gaze, I fell silent. She got it too, and said with a smile to comfort me, "It's okay, Mom joined a group for high-quality men, and I'll pick through it for you again." I nodded, then stood there, studying her closely. My mom was stunningly beautiful when she was young, with plenty of admirers, but my dad managed to sweep her off her feet with just a red velvet shirt. It wasn't until after marriage that I discovered this man was all smooth talk, a drunkard, and a gambler. She cut her losses in time, taking nothing with her but me. She loved beauty, at first. She still wore puffed sleeves and tapered trousers, and even curled her hair with a red-hot iron. These adornments were all put away in the dusty factory. Her sewing machine hummed day and night, yet she still found the heart to comfort me. "Study hard, and once Mom has made some money, I'll take you to Xinjiang to have fun someday." Perhaps feeling it still wasn't far enough, she added with even more force, "When your mom makes it big, I'll take you traveling abroad." Back then, most people still saw going abroad as a good thing. She walked with a brisk, decisive pace. As a child, I was always trying to walk faster just to keep up with her. Little did I know, I ended up walking too fast and too far, leaving her far behind. Finally, I asked, "Mom, would you like to go on a trip?" Her eyes fixed on the screen, she waved me off. "I'm too old for that kind of thing now. I've lost the drive. Besides, it's not safe out there. You shouldn't go either." I shook my head. "Not abroad, to Xinjiang." Her gaze shifted from the screen to my face. "But isn't Xinjiang expensive? Wouldn't it be a hassle for you? And it's so far away, it's not very convenient." Everything they said, between the lines, screamed reluctance, yet I saw a bright sparkle in her eyes, brimming with anticipation. It dawned on me that I had already wasted far too much time, and I couldn't afford to waste any more. A sudden, fierce longing to raise her all over again washed over me. 11. The flight is booked for a week from now. It took me a whole week to give my mom a complete wardrobe makeover, unlike those viral videos online where people totally transform their moms with girly, youthful lace and all that. I didn't use a single one of those elements. I just took her to a boutique to pick out a few expensive outfits and matched them with some suitable jewelry. She was instantly transformed. I then spent a few more minutes setting up an account for her and creating a column. It's called Mom's 100 Wishes, for the first episode of the video series. We're heading to Xinjiang to take a look. We witnessed the pink tide of Xinhua Valley. Gazing upon a boundless sea of flowers, we got to taste freshly baked naan, watching as the baker practically leaned his whole upper body into the fiery pit. In the bustle of the street, I heard a melody like no other. It's a modest little shop, where a scruffy, oddly dressed man is playing the piano. He plucked the strings at us. "It's a rawap. Would you like to come in and take a look?" When I was younger, my mom loved music, and there were often stacks of CDs around the house. I understood what was on her mind. Can my mom give it a try? The moment the instrument was in her hands, her eyes lit up with just a gentle touch. I suggested, "Mom, you said you didn't have a topic for your first video yet. Well, now you do." I pointed at the rawap. My mom is a very meticulous person. She recorded everything with the utmost care and diligence, as if completing a formal task. Her mother doesn't know it, but she has real talent. She couldn't make sense of editing software or get the hang of music, so she chose the simplest approach, doing her own voiceover and telling her own story. When I was little, there were 4 of us siblings, and only one could go to school. I was sensible enough to be the first to say, "I'll wait and go later." Later, there was a promotion opportunity in the workshop. I was competing with another person. The higher-ups said one of us should step back, and everyone looked at me. I understood the situation. I said I'd wait, that there would be other chances, always thinking I'll wait, just getting by like that, and before you know it, a whole life has almost passed you by. I listened to her quietly. I've known since I was little that our luck always seems to fall just a bit short. None of us believed she would be picked up by the algorithm, but I couldn't bear to see her heartfelt effort go unnoticed in the age of big data, so I boosted her video. It cost a pretty penny, but fortunately, I can afford it. Her travel documentary got a significant boost in traffic. There were a lot of comments. She didn't show anything on the surface, but late at night, I saw her looking at her phone under the desk lamp. I moved closer and saw she was leafing through a dictionary. When she saw me, she hid the dictionary behind her back as if feeling guilty, and then asked me, "Do you think it's too late for someone my age to start learning to read?" 12. We settled down in Xinjiang. My working days feel like a lifetime ago. It wasn't until I was by The beautiful lake that I ran into a former coworker. They were out for a team building event. The first thing they said when they saw me was, "Ms. Sue, what are you doing here?" The second was, "Mr. Song has been looking all over for you." I think I'm the one who's actually gone crazy. No one wants to run into an ex-coworker while traveling. What bad luck. Seriously, what bad luck. I put on a fake smile and made small talk. "What do you want with me? I already quit." The newcomer came up to me as if we were already on familiar terms, trying to loop her arm through mine. Even after I subtly sidestepped her, she didn't seem the least bit embarrassed. As if complaining to me, she rambled on and on. "Ms. Sue, Mr. Song has kept your position open, and none of your things have been moved. Your salary has even been raised quite a bit, since you've been away for so long. He's had it recorded as paid leave for you. He really does care about you." See, there it is again, every single time before. Whenever I made up my mind to leave, he'd turn right back into the devoted one. Even though he's never lacked women around him, he acts like he can't live without me. I'd lost my patience. He should be getting married now, giving Meng Yao enough sense of security. Instead of getting hung up on another woman's departure, her expression turned complicated. Marriage. He even drove Meng Yao away, as if she'd been holding it in forever. She still wanted to fill me in on what had happened after I left, but I had no patience to listen, and no interest in hearing about it. I gave a polite smile. "Just throw away everything left there. I won't be going back. Also, outside of work, please act as if you don't know me." I lost interest and was getting ready to leave with my mom. The engine hadn't even started yet when a noisy crowd passed by in front of us. The one leading the group was the piano shop owner, and at that moment he was urgently calling out, "Does anyone have an AED? Who has an AED?" I immediately got out of the car, took the AED and first aid kit from inside, and handed them to him. Since I was with my mom, I had prepared everything very thoroughly. He shoved a business card into my hand. "I'm Liang Chunan. I'll compensate you at full price." Holding the card, I felt like I'd seen it somewhere before. After racking my brain for a while, I finally remembered. He seemed to be the chairman of some conglomerate in Jing City, specializing in electronic research and development. For a long time, people in the industry were wary of him, but he surprisingly stepped down voluntarily not long after. I waited in place for a long time, and eventually Liang Chunan came back, shed that abstract outfit, swap it for some practical workwear. "Still looks quite impressive." The weariness on his face wouldn't fade, yet his tone remained gentle. "We got a report that a girl's been missing for 2 days. We've been searching non-stop for 2 days straight, and just managed to find her when someone in the rescue team collapsed. Things were looking grim, but luckily we ran into you. By the way, I'd like to invite you all to the celebration party." His eyes were bright and intense. "Would you give me that chance?" 13. As the exotic melody began to play, I turned to Liang Chunan and asked, "Didn't you used to run a company in Jing City? Why are you in the rescue team now?" He said jokingly, "Being the boss is just a side gig. This is my real job." I shrugged, indicating that everyone has their own secrets. The air fell silent again. He stared at me for a moment, then pulled out his phone to search. It was a news story I'd seen a long time ago, flashed by briefly and didn't think much of it. It was probably about a middle-aged man who accidentally fell into a fast-flowing river while hiking the ancient Wusan Trail. Luckily, they were spotted by some hikers passing by. The man struggled fiercely. By the time his hiking companions pulled him to shore, he was utterly exhausted and too weak to climb out, leaving his young life behind in the cold river. Liang Chunan said to me, "This is my older brother, Liang Chunan. He was 24 back then. Now I'm several years older than him, so he has to call me big brother." He was lost in thought. I can't help but think, if only someone had reached out to him back then, his story could have ended so differently. So I came here and joined the rescue team. The mood had grown a bit heavy, and I wanted to lighten the atmosphere. "Want to hear my story? You've been through a lot yourself. Maybe you can give me some advice." He perked up with interest, resting his chin in his hand and gesturing for me to go on. After hearing the whole story, his expression grew complicated. "I can be pretty blunt. You're probably better off not taking my advice." He offered his sincere advice. "It's fine, I can handle it. He's a scumbag, she's a tramp," he said bluntly. I was completely triggered. "You have such a nasty way of putting things." Liang Chunan made a calming gesture with his palm, pressing it downward to signal for me to settle down. "You've always been a decent person starved for affection, someone who craves a stable family life. yet you fell for a free spirit. Falling for them was one thing, but you actually held on to the fantasy that one day they'd settle down, become steady, and want to build a family with you. You're such a walking contradiction. I sighed. It's not like I chose this. Everyone else in my life has been temporary, just passing through. He's the only one who stuck around. I guess I just got used to it. His mood seemed to lift. He grabbed the lamb leg from the table, took a bite, and said through a mouthful of food, "That's because you lack an anchor. You have nothing you're striving for. Your inner world isn't rich enough, which is why you're so plagued by fear of loss." I felt a deep sense of respect. "Master, what should I do?" He set down the half-eaten chicken leg and clapped me on the shoulder. "You need to find something you truly love, something you're willing to give everything for. It's not about a man, it's about finding something strong enough to carry you through the rest of your life." Seeing me lower my head in thought, he gently tugged at my hair, forcing me to look up. "That's something you can think about later. Right now, it's time for us to dance around the bonfire." After my mom was finally able to play a complete tune on the rawap, we've decided to leave Xinjiang. Upon learning of our departure, Liang Chunan closed his shop for the day just to see us off. As we were about to leave, he looked at me and spoke with utmost sincerity. "If a person's presence in another's life inevitably leaves a mark, then I hope the mark I leave in yours is one of inner harmony. I hope you can find peace with yourself soon." 14. We didn't stop moving forward. We embarked on a long, circuitous journey. We crossed snow-capped mountains to reach the Potala Palace. It was springtime, so we visited Shaka Salt Lake and took some absolutely stunning photos of my mom. We stayed in Dali a while longer, living at a leisurely, comfortable pace where the days seemed to stretch out. Finally, we returned to Cloud City. Because of making videos, my mom has experienced a lot of firsts. First time skiing, first time going to a concert, first time horseback riding, first time playing golf. She keeps her schedule packed, working out, reading, filming videos. Her days are completely booked. She says 100 wishes aren't enough. She's already planning her 200th, 300th. She still loves me, it's just that she has more things she wants to do now. When her followers hit 100,000, she wanted to go live, so she kicked me out, telling me to go buy her a bottle of red wine. Let's celebrate properly after the live stream ends. I know, she wants to have a good chat with her fans. The supermarket was running a promotion, and the place was absolutely packed. I pushed my way to the shelf, only to find the wine she loves was on the top shelf. I reached down to grab it, but my phone kept buzzing insistently. I found some free time to open it and take a look, only to realize it was our homeroom teacher splurging on a class reunion. The long dormant class group chat has sprung back to life. I'm not a very sociable person, and I never really had much to talk about with my classmates. Since it was just a group chat, I figured staying silent, neither agreeing nor refusing, would get the message across. That was, until someone sent me a private message. "Oh, by the way, is Sujinju coming to the class reunion?" The class group chat fell silent all of a sudden. 15. My ear is hurting again, a familiar yet overpowering style that made me feel particularly uncomfortable. I typed without thinking, "No, I'm busy, I don't have time." No one in the group replied. Then, the homeroom teacher messaged me privately. "To be honest, it's Song Huijing who's looking for you. He told me that if you just show up at the class reunion, he'll build a library for the school. You used to study here, so you know how it is. Those kids hardly have any books to read outside of class. But I don't understand, what would Song Huijing want with me? How could he possibly have the nerve to come find me like nothing had happened?" I scoffed, then replied with deliberate seriousness, "Whatever he promised has nothing to do with me. Whether those children have books to read is none of my concern either. Don't try to guilt trip me, Song Huijing and I are better off never seeing each other again." Putting down my phone, I let out a long, deep sigh of relief. The liquor was on the top shelf, but I couldn't muster the will to even reach for it. Just as I was about to turn and leave, a sound came from behind me. "Sujinju." I turned to look and saw a strikingly handsome man who looked somewhat familiar. He was right at ease, effortlessly grabbing that bottle of wine for me before smiling and saying, "We were even seated next to each other in high school. You've really forgotten about me." It took me a while, but I finally recognized it. Josie, in high school, I was seated next to him for a while, but I honestly didn't have a very good impression of him. He liked fooling around with the girls, and every recess my seat would be taken by a different girl. He gave me nasty nicknames and would always give me this weird, inexplicable smile. The worst part was when I had to grit my teeth and give that speech in front of the whole class for the financial aid. He was the first one to speak up. She doesn't need anyone's pity. Thinking of all this, I was utterly exasperated. I dodged his hand and tried to walk around him. You hated me so much back then. Why are you talking to me now? He was taken aback for a moment, then a bitter smile touched his lips. How could I ever hate you? I was an idiot back then. I went about liking someone all wrong. I froze where I stood. He added, "It's not what you think. Let's talk about it properly once we're outside." He told me a lot when he learned that my youth had been spent in self-doubt. He laughed even more exaggeratedly. You didn't like looking in the mirror back in high school, so you never realized just how pretty you already were. Those few pimples on your face, they actually added charm. Back then, there were actually quite a few people in the class who liked you. Your family background may have been ordinary, but you were incredibly tough and resilient. It's just that you kept everyone at arm's length, and your whole aura was so cold that no one dared to get close to you. Do you remember what you said when you went up on stage to give that speech? I remember it vividly. I was full of insecurity, yet my pride was fierce. I stood on the podium with my back straight. My parents got divorced. My father deserved it, and I'm proud my mother got away from him. My family was dirt poor, barely scraping by. My mom only made 70 yuan a day, and putting food on the table was a struggle. Yet, my grades were still among the top 3 in my class. You have to justify yourself after every single thing you say, as if that would stop people from looking down on you. I shrugged. Exactly, you're too damn intimidating. No one in the class dared to get close to you. And then, Song Huijing showed up, and you became even more oblivious to the rest of us. The truth is, we all just want you to be happy. I encountered a fair amount of malice during my time in the workplace, but when faced with genuine kindness, I was especially awkward, only able to muster a flat, wooden response. Oh, I see, it's a real shame we didn't clear the air back then. He smiled at me again. By the way, if you could go back to that time, would you have liked someone like me? 16. For a moment, I didn't know how to answer, so I just took 2 steps back to put some distance between us. I quickly waved his hands. Don't be nervous, I was just kidding. He then showed me his phone with a smile. It displayed a family photo of the 3 of them. With an exaggerated tone, he said, "You know how it is back home, people marry young. My kid is practically old enough to run errands. I am so incredibly happy right now." As we parted, he said to me with a solemn expression, "I was just kidding, but the wish for your happiness is genuine. I think maybe Song Huijing really is my bad luck charm. How come since I left him, everything that used to be going wrong has started turning around?" My good mood vanished the moment I turned around and saw Song Huijing. He was standing in the shadows of a distant alleyway, watching. I had no idea for how long. He had lost a lot of weight, and his usually neat clothes were now slightly disheveled. It wasn't until I saw him again that I realized how strange love truly is. When you're in love, you gladly live and die together, offering your very heart and soul, but when it's gone, your heart becomes still as water. It's like weaning. Once it's over for good. Song Huijing was looking at me too. There were so many things he actually wanted to ask, like, who was that man? And after all this time, hadn't he thought of him even once? But his first words were, "Why did you rent out our apartment?" laced with a subtle sense of grievance. 17. I was instantly annoyed. Ours, that's mine. He's so good at claiming other people's things as his own. He seemed anxious, taking a couple of urgent steps forward as if to grasp my hand. A heavy smell of cigarettes wafted from him. I wondered how many he'd smoked. "Stay away from me," I said, my brow furrowed. He froze mid-motion, his eyes dropping with a wounded, dejected look. "Jinju Su, I haven't stopped thinking about you for a single moment since you left. I remember your earaches and wanted to take you to a hospital in the capital for another checkup. I remember how your stomach always hurt from drinking too much, and I wanted to hire a health aide for you. Meng Yao was indeed too spoiled. I know you never liked her, so I sent her away. I've also come to see my own heart clearly. You are in it. Movies and TV shows always glorify tales of the prodigal son's return, celebrating the reformed scoundrel's genuine heart. But does a scoundrel truly have a genuine heart? I can't see what's in his heart, but I feel deeply hurt. It just feels like he's wronged me, wronged Meng Yao, and every other woman who's ever truly cared for him." I stepped back in disgust and made myself as clear as possible. I have no objections to Meng Yao. Acting coquettish or feeling jealous is just part of how young girls behave when they're in love. Nothing to blame them for. What I hate is your wanting to have your cake and eat it too, and I hate my own shamelessness for putting up with it. The moment I crossed the line from friend to something more, I should have known, if we can't be lovers, then we can only be strangers, but we never crossed that line. He growled in a low voice, it's true that after all these years with him, we've never had any physical contact. One time, he put an arm around my shoulder in a joking way and said, we've been friends for so many years, why don't we give it a try? You know, I'm pretty experienced in this matter. My heart skipped a beat, but subconsciously avoided his touch. My first reaction was resistance, an especially strong resistance. Song Huijing raised an eyebrow slightly, you think I'm dirty? I instinctively wanted to argue back, but I had no way to refute it. Song Huijing's smile faded as he lit a cigarette. All right, I understand, you can leave now. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, boring, and conventional, but I really can't wrap my head around these trendy ideas. I have no interest in that sort of thing, and I don't understand why people are so casual about getting sexual so easily. Just like smoking, many people adore the way he smokes. His hands are slender and bony, and the way he holds a cigarette is effortlessly suave, but I don't like it, because too. My nose, whether it's a fine cigarette or a cheap one, thick or thin, it all just smells like stale, clinging smoke. I've lost all patience. Every time I see his face, I'm reminded of the things he said to my mother. For someone with such a poor memory to remember those words so clearly can only mean she was deeply hurt for a very long time, and that she had turned those words over in her mind again and again. I couldn't help but lash out at Song Huijing with harsh words, who asks a friend to deliver something in the middle of the night. Who says those ambiguous things to a friend? If you can't keep clear boundaries in a friendship, who are you being fair to? Meeting you was the worst luck of my life. Sometimes I even think, you cause so much pain, it'd be a relief if you just got hit by a car and died. To be honest, I've hated you for a long time. 18. I thought Song Huijing would never show his face again after hearing that. He's a man of immense pride. I've seen the look on his face when a girl turned him down. He gave a soft chuckle, lit a cigarette absent-mindedly, as if nothing at all were on his mind. Someone asked him, are you just going to give up like that? Why not keep going after it? I'm not that cheap. Back then, his gaze fell in my direction, but now, he's done something I never expected. Every morning at 6, I go for a run, then hit the farmer's market for groceries. In the mornings, I might visit a craft shop or a boutique. In the afternoons, I'll head to a bookstore or a cafe. He had my entire routine figured out and showed up at every single spot. The next time I bumped into him, I let out a derisive snort. How pathetic can you be, Song Huijing? He, however, wore an expression of utter seriousness. Pursuing the one you love is called sincerity. Just when I was at my wit's end, Suyen reached out to me. She introduced me to a bunch of men and wanted me to meet them. With a pragmatic tone, she told me, an unmarried woman is like a piece of tender meat, ripe for the taking. Men can be quite useful. For instance, when Song Huijing comes pestering you, if he sees you're already with someone, he'll back off on his own. But I'm really not interested. Although I still haven't found my anchor, I still have a long life ahead of me, and I'll keep looking patiently. Whether it's a rescue team, a tour group, or even a piece of baked naan, all of it feels more interesting to me than liking someone. After witnessing the vast world and experiencing life's grand adventures, I just don't have any interest in these things. Suyen asked again, are you really not going to get married? Are you going to spend your whole life taking care of your mom? You should know that a woman can achieve her self-worth without compromising her marriage. Suyen used to be fiery-tempered, but she changed a lot after getting married. Kids have a way of softening a woman. I know she's only giving me this advice because she's found happiness herself, but I don't believe a beautiful love will ever come my way. If one day I really do meet the right person, then that's a different story. Right now, though, I don't need one man to mark me as his just to scare off another, so I took the simplest possible approach. When Song Huijing came to pester her once again, I decided to call the police. 19. The head of the Song group turned out to be such a hopeless romantic. After being rejected, he even went so far as to harass the other person. For the Song family, this was a huge scandal. Their aristocratic circle was strange indeed. When Song Huijing paraded one lover after another around in public, they didn't call him a womanizer, they called it a man being true to his nature. When he's entangled with a woman, they don't call him deeply devoted, they call him someone who's unlikely to amount to much. Handing over the Song group to him is no longer reassuring. I'm delighted to see this. My mom's obsessed with live streaming. She absolutely loves chatting with her family in the live stream room. When I accidentally appeared on camera for the third time during her stream, she gently said to me, Why don't you go out and get some fresh air? I signed you up for a hiking tour. A 3-day, 2-night trek was enough to make me forget a whole lot of things. I was just that exhausted. The guide was casually chatting and snacking on sunflower seeds, while I was wheezing like an old tractor beside him even though it was a hike. We weren't exactly traveling light. One person brought 2 live hens, and another was carrying a massive cast iron pot. We climbed upward and sat cross-legged at the summit, then skillfully heat the wok and add oil. The day our hike ended, I said goodbye to them. Turning around, I saw Song Huijing. He didn't come up close, he just stood off in the distance. After a long while, he finally managed a faint smile. I came to say goodbye. The Song family has opened a branch overseas, and they've unanimously decided that I should go. The company is small and understaffed, making it hard for him to cope with the overseas environment. It may seem like they value him, but in reality, they've already given up on him. He gave a wry smile. Meeting you was the worst luck of my life. I won't bother you anymore, unless we make a point of it. This will be the last time we see each other. I smiled, couldn't ask for more. Mom was already waiting not far away. She had just gotten her driver's license and, knowing I had finished my hike, was eager to come pick me up. I sat there staring at the rearview mirror. Song Huijing's figure gradually grew smaller until it vanished from sight. A pale, weak sunlight fell upon me. I listened as the car radio played the weather forecast. The prolonged spell of overcast and rainy weather has officially ended today, with long-awaited sunshine returning to the land. It is expected that temperatures across most of the country will continue to rise in the coming period. The sky has cleared up. My mom was humming a cheerful tune in the driver's seat. She'd recently gotten a perm and was wearing a pair of inexpensive but sharp-looking sunglasses. In her own words, "I'm quite the fashion plate now." I asked her, "Mom, are you happy with how things are now?" She answered me without thinking, "Fantastic, this may be the best moment of my life." I quickly stopped her. "There are plenty of good times ahead, the best days are still ahead." The end.